doing a little bit of aluminum brazing. You got your aluminum brazing alloy. You got your 2 pieces of aluminum you want to braze together. This is just an example. I'm not really needing these together. And then you got your wire brush. So first things first, you got to get them clean. You got to make sure it's just straight aluminum. You got to clean down your area that you're going to be heating up. With the aluminum brush, with the brush you have for aluminum. It's a stainless steel brush. Clean it down, get the aluminum oxide off. That's the point of all of this. Once it's heated up a little bit, you need to do this again because the heat will expose a little more aluminum oxide. Alright. Then you put your 2 pieces together the way you want to braze them. So I'm going to just put it like this. Next thing, you're going to want to scrape off your brush too. You're going to want to get your alloy brush down, nice and good. Because this also has aluminum oxide on it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need it that badly. Get this picked up. Now, you're going to want to start heating things up here. So I'm going to put this on like so. So this side, a little bit better for it. This is how I want to do this. This is how I'm going to do this. Now, if you don't want to get it stuck on something, you might want to get something to put it on. Like a piece of sheet metal, which I'm going to go get. I'll be right back. So today now, we're back. And we have our piece of metal that is steel, not aluminum. Otherwise, you might connect the 2 pieces to your aluminum. So just get something that it won't conduct with. I just don't want to get the aluminum alloy melted on my garage floor. So I'm going to just put it on a piece of scrap steel. So now, we're going to start heating this up. Evenly heat it between the 2 pieces of metal. This will not be a quick task, so just take your time. Because we're using a bigger piece of aluminum, point your flame towards that. It'll conduct the heat into the smaller piece. Alright, now that they're a little bit heated up, you're going to want to just scrape the aluminum oxide just even more off, because the heat will expose that. Because you want a clean braze, so that it has the strength of a weld. Just make sure you don't burn yourself. That's why I'm wearing gloves. That piece is clean. And the metal will feel a little bit softer when you do this, because the heat has softened it up. Alright, now we're back into the game of things, and keep heating it until your rod will melt into it, which we'll show you in a second. You might want to heat your rod up just a tiny little bit. So it melts in a little bit. Don't melt the rod onto it. You want the material to melt the rod into it. Touch it on. You want the metal to melt the alloy into itself, not the flame. Keep that in mind. And just heat this up, make a little finishing touches, just like putting on solder. And yes, you will get little flashbacks. Always wear safety glasses. And add the heat so it can slowly set itself in. We're gonna let it cool down and harden a little bit, and then we're gonna flip it over and do the other side. Alright, so it's cool enough we can pick it up with leather gloves on. Just be careful with what you're doing. If it hurts, drop it. Don't hurt yourself over it. That's a nice little braze right there, fused in nicely. Now we're gonna go on to the other side with this extra little bit of rod we have here. We do have a pack of this, so if we do run out, we can always get more. Here we go. I'm gonna get this heated up. Now you cannot do tacks with this. It's just like soldering. Because then the tack will melt. And what I'm going to do here is keep heating this, pick up my rod, and just set my rod on. Does. This is the other technique to get this to work. And with another piece of scrap metal, you can until we're ready to grind this down a little bit and take a look at it. Alright, so here's our finished product. Looks nice and beautiful. Nice little braze. Penetrated fully. We've got a little bit of a clump up here, but it's just a little bit of grinding down will fix that problem. As with any weld or braze, that's gonna happen. You have to grind down the crappiness, but overall this is a feels a little bit sturdy. I'm gonna try to bend this though. Just gotta get to cool down a little more so I don't burn my hands when I take my gloves off and take a pair of pliers to them. I'm gonna brush it away a little bit. Get a little zoom in on it. Now we're gonna brush away. See if there's any junk on top of it. But it looks pure. Overall, this is a pretty strong little, nifty little thing. Still pretty hot though, so it's not very strong because it's warm. So I'm not gonna beat on it until it cools down. I can't even chip away this little piece of slag junk here. It's pretty awesome here. Pretty strong. I'd recommend this if you had to weld a little thing onto your bike or came up with a little tiny project with aluminum, like a chair, an aluminum lawn chair. That would do pretty good to fix it. Just a little bit of practice is all it took for me, and we got it good. We'll be back when we're done grinding it down, and then we'll take a braking test on it. Alright, so we're putting these vice grips on it pretty tightly. A little bit too tight. Clamp down. And there goes the piece of metal. Skipping across the floor. Alright, so vice grips on. Pliers. Bends the aluminum. They're not breaking the weld. No. This is so bad that getting it on my knee, bending the aluminum piece, but not the weld. So overall, I recommend getting a pack of these. There's different brands. Just go to Harbor Freight or Menards or Home Depot or something and go and buy them. That's all you gotta do. I just had these laying around. I don't know where they came from, but I've seen them other places. Yeah. Go and braze, and then maybe even email us some feedback. Thanks for watching. Redneck Wise signing out.